Welcome back. I'm visiting with Steve Adetumbi. Steve, thank you so much for your song. I want to pick up on something that you very briefly mentioned just before we started talking about your first song, and that was, I really didn't know Jesus so well. Now, you grew up in a home that was a Christian home.
That's correct.
You grew up singing all these Christian songs.
That's correct.
And I suspect you grew up going to church.
That is correct too as well.
Fill me in on this equation.
Well, I just want to say this, I was raised in a good Christian family, just like you said, and I did gain a lot from my parents, and in particularly the time that my mom spent with me reading Bible stories and the like really had an impact for me. So there was a fondness for religion and for the things that I've learned, but it really didn't. Growing up, I grew up and kind of got into my adolescence years. I really didn't see much meaning to it beyond just it's what I was used to and what I was accustomed to. So that kind of is what happened.
So what happened to change that for you?
Well, it was a series of events. God was planting seeds in my life throughout. And one of the seeds that he planted was that he wanted me to read my Bible and spend time praying. And that's not something I wanted to do. I wanted to get up in the morning and go about what I wanted to go about. And that seed was planted into me from probably from some of the instructors that I had encountered at church. And, it kind of became the rallying cry of God to me. Hey, spend some time with me in the Word. And I didn't want to do it. And he had to work through some circumstances. I went through a couple car crashes within a period of a year while I was in the midst of doing stuff that wasn't things that God would condone me to be involved in. And that kind of woke me up and says, man, I could lose my life like this. And so I started saying, I'm going to buckle down and spend time in my Word. And that's planted a seed. And when I got into college, Oakwood College, as I mentioned earlier, I saw people there who they came to school and they had their books and they were excited about God. They had their Bibles and I was like, man, what's going on here? They look happy. They don't look like crazy people. They're really about what they believe. And I said, I wanted that. And so I started searching, and then a blessed night, there was on the campus, there was a minister on the campus, and he was holding a revival series. And I went to every night. He presented Christ on the cross in a way that I never heard it before. And before Christ was like, okay, maybe he was a pretty cool Bible character, probably one of my favorites maybe. But when I saw him on the cross, I was like, whoa, my life needs to be about him. Look at how much he loves me. And it was like after that, everything in my religious experience or that I had grown up, it had life. It was like a light was shed upon my relationship with God. And since then, everything was so much more meaningful.
So what change did that moment make for you practically in your everyday life?
Oh, I mean, it was everything. I mean, from that moment, there were some things that immediately that I was hanging on to that I said, no, this has got to go. It was without a question. It felt great to let go of something for somebody who let so much go from me. So, I let go of things, and new habits started coming in, caring about my neighbor. I got involved in a hospital ministry, and there was many things on the campus of Oakwood College that I could get involved in. So I started getting involved in those, and the Bible started opening up to me before I was reading it, and sometimes I was like, what is this stuff really saying? But when I saw Christ, he was like, whoa, this is talking about him right here. So it was just an exciting time for me, and a lot of things, even academically, I started getting better because I realized God, I had to represent him. And so he was there saying, hey, Stephen, what are you doing with your time? You're just kind of fiddling here. Get to work. And so it was an impetus for almost everything that I did from that point on
And
forward.
so what difference did this new experience with understanding who Jesus was for you personally do to your music?
Oh, boy. It's like everything else in my life. There were some things I just did, and maybe it was something I liked But now when I was starting listening to some of the songs I wrote before, I started singing these songs. It's like, wow, these things, they mean so much, and it would touch my heart as I was singing them. So sometimes I'll be singing a song, and I just catch the glimpse of what it's trying to say and what it's saying about Christ, and it would give me chills, or maybe occasionally a tear would kind of come out. I don't know what that was all about, but the music moved me. And so, in my training, one of the things that my teachers what my vocal coach in college taught me was that, hey, express. And so she taught me that in the classical music realm. And I was like, hey, this is a great idea. There's so much in this music that I'm singing about Christ. I need to spend some time focusing on expressing this song. And so it transformed essentially the way I did music. And
how did your friends feel about this change?
They thought it was a pretty cool thing, I guess.
They were okay with it.
Yeah, I guess I was kind of a nicer guy. I kind of was just kind of angry, had an angry look on my face most of the time before.
I can't imagine, Steve. You look way too fine to ever have any angry moment on your face.
Yeah, people say that, but it was kind of the style. I just, no smiling was allowed. But I started, there was so much to be happy about. I had to smile and laugh and do all the kind of things. So I guess they thought it was pretty cool. And some of my friends made that, they kind of saw the light too, so they were kind of nicer to be around as well.
So what would you say today to young people like you who, were into the cool things of life and maybe not even taking life too seriously? What would you really like to say to them?
I would probably want to plant the same seed that was planted in me, was that spend time in your word. That kind of softens your heart and helps you to see life in a different way. It's like a paradigm shift when you're reading the Bible. It's like, oh, I do it this way, but look at the way that Christ is, he's so cool, and he's saying, man, I'm meek and lowly in heart. And so he gives you a paradigm shift.
What does that mean, meek and lowly in heart? I mean, that's a Bible phrase.
A Bible phrase.
Let's put it into everyday language.
Good job. I like the fact that you're pressing me on that. It means just to be, instead of me focusing on myself and how cool I am, focus on other people, and see the value in other people. And so my shift is now from trying to promote myself to trying to see the value in other people and the value in God and His love for me. So I spend time in your Bible, and particularly in the Gospels. That's where I started, looking at Jesus and how different He is from,
So is Jesus Christ really every day part of your life?
Oh yeah, that's it's something I don't even. He's just there, In the morning I wake up, and the first thing is, I'm thinking, well, He's here. He kept me safe through the night, and I just need to kneel and thank Him and focus on Him again. Every day is this journey to get to know Him more and be more like Him. I see people who are like Christ, and I was like, man, I feel like I'm talking to Christ, and I want that spirit. It's just so valuable, right?
Beautiful.
Right.
And that's the difference between growing up with religion and then becoming a spiritual person.
Thank you. Yes, exactly. It's like you have religion, and there's a lot of religions, but when you have Christ, it's a relationship. It's something that, the language He uses is like, eternal life bubbling up. It's like, it feels like energy. And that's what I kind of gather. It's like a life-giving, He gives you so much to be happy about. His mercy, the way He deals with you, and the way He helps you. It's meaningful,
That's beautiful. Steve, we have less than 1 minute.
Sure.
Tell me about the song you wrote, Inseparable Love, which we're going to hear in just a moment.
Yes, it kind of relates to what we're talking about. It's that, when you have this bond with Christ, no matter what you go through, because we'll go through some tough times, but He's there. And, the faith that you have in Him, it's not going to separate. He goes through the circumstances with you, and He helps you through it. So Inseparable Love, I think the lyrics kind of speak for themselves, and Christ is He's there, He's a friend, just what we're talking about.
Thank you so much, Steve. It's been a delight to have you today.
Oh, thanks. It's been a delight to be here.
And I can't wait to hear you sing that song, but I really wish you the very best in your career. You're young, you're dynamic, that the Lord will be with you, and that you will carry that strength that you have right now as a soldier for Jesus Christ. Thanks so much for Steve for being here.
Thank you so much, Candace.
And here's Steve with Inseparable Love.
For God so loved this world that He gave His only Son, and His Son so loved this world that He died for everyone. And to all who did believe, an eternal bond they did receive. God and Son and daughter one, holds each hand till victory's won. If God be for us, who can be against us? Tell me what might can separate us. Not I, not death, or life, or death can sever the love us from his people. Oh, and there's nothing he won't do to see his little children home. Just take a look at Calvary to see the depths that he would go, and greater peace in their solemn sacrifice. For in the cross I stand convinced that our God is on our side. If God be for us, who can be against us? Tell me what might can separate us. Not height, not death or life, or death can sever the love of Jesus from me. If God be for us, who can be against us? Tell me what might can separate us. Not height, not death, no life or death can sever the love of Jesus from his people.
Thanks, Steve, so much. That was really beautiful. And for our viewers today, thank you so much for watching. And remember, Steve and his story. When you feel like there's nobody out there, it's inseparable love, and it's for you too. And until next time, I'll be praying that Jesus will be your story and your song.
Words can't express. Through your death I've been blessed, and grace not deserved is not only mine, but eternally I will